Possible as soon as we got some new information about this tragic accident over in India, and some new video has emerged that's changed my analysis of this accident in particular. And let me recap for you where I started on this. And basically there's three camps that everybody is still in about 48 hours almost after the original accident. Theory number one was that there was some sort of dual engine failure, and then the backup to that was it was either a bird strike or it was some sort of fuel contamination that led to that dual engine failure. That was theory number one. Theory number two was the pilots didn't have the flaps set properly for takeoff. In other words, the flaps were up, and as they ran down the runway, they got a little bit of air, but eventually the airplane just kind of waddled down and crashed because the flaps weren't set properly. The third theory, and the one that I was leaning to the most, and let me just say leaning to, I wasn't firmly in this camp, but I was leaning towards it, was they had the flaps set properly for takeoff. When they rotated, everything was normal. At the time that the pilot flying would ask for gear up, the other pilot mistakenly grabbed the flap handle and prematurely raised the flaps. That was, at the time, the thing that seemed most evident to me, because the landing gear stayed down for the entire duration, short as it would be, for this flight, and there was no evidence out of the engines that was there any sort of failure. No fire, no sparks, no smoke coming out of the engines. A real head scratcher on that front. And so I thought maybe it was simply they grabbed the wrong handle and prematurely raised the flaps. I was leaning heavily into that department. I'm going to change my analysis now because of this new video, and it's based on the original video that all of us watched. And we saw two main videos. The one where the airplane was running down the runway and then rotated and took off, and you saw it crash in the distance. The other one was a video that was taken from kind of a rooftop or a window, where the airplane came from left to right and then descended down out of the screen, and then you saw the fireball there. I'm going to show you that video in its original form. Now, what do I mean by that? The video that we all saw and every major news network on the planet went with was a video of a video, and the quality was extremely poor. The original that was presumably taken from an iPhone or some sort of cell phone is much sharper. It's not a terrific video by any means, but it's much sharper than the video of the other video. So what happened was some cameraman was in front of a screen watching the video play, and you can see him at the very end of it. You can actually see his shadow, and you can hear people talking in the background. So the audio is not very good, and the visual is not very good. The original is going to show us something that's going to change this whole thing. Let me run the video that I'm talking about, and you take a look at it, and then I'll talk about it after it runs. Can you hear how crisp that is? You didn't hear that. You didn't hear the actual crash on the original video. You could see it, but you didn't hear it. Why? Because there was people talking in the background. This original is much sharper. Now you're looking at it going, well, I've seen that a bunch of times. You haven't seen it this clearly a bunch of times. Now, I want to run it again, and we're going to zoom in on something, and I'm going to show you something and explain it, because this is a total game changer. Right there, my friends. Take a look. We've circled it for you. Now, a lot of people have been talking about the theory that the Rat had deployed. What's a Rat? It's a ram air turbine. It deploys on, many airplanes have it, 787 has it, 777 has it. The Rat is basically just behind the wing on the right side of the airplane. There's a little door that holds it in, and it looks like a little Evinrude motor. It's a little two-bladed prop, and the purpose of the ram air turbine is to provide electrical and hydraulic pressure for the aircraft in an extreme emergency. On the 787 in particular, there's three things that will deploy the Rat, and it deploys automatically. A massive electrical failure, a massive hydraulic failure, or a dual engine failure. So any one of those three things will cause that Rat to deploy. So up to this point, all of the theories that we've had were based on maybe one bit of solid evidence, but not 2 or maybe 1.5. But, it's hard to go with a theory when you've only got like one thing to go on. I'm going to give you 3 or more for why I think the rat deployed and why I think this was a dual engine failure. I'm firmly in that camp now. Number 1 is right here. Take a look at your screen. In the middle of the circle, you see kind of it looks like a protrusion on the belly of the aircraft. And I'm not trying to be salacious with this. It looks like a nipple at the bottom of the airplane, all right? Just underneath that, you see a little gray dot. It almost looks like an artifact on the screen. That little gray dot is the rat. This is visual confirmation that the rat deployed. What is that protrusion underneath the airplane? That's the door that opened to allow the rat to come down. And you can see it here. You can see it very vividly on this screen. It's not the best. It's kind of grainy still. It's at least one bit of the puzzle here. So that's evidence number 1. Now, evidence number 2 is with our ears, all right? Because a rat makes a very distinctive sound. And in that original video, the audio was so bad you couldn't really catch it. But in this, the one that they were showing to us, the original one, it's much more clear. And it sounds like